It's
We're
like,
back
second
again.
quarter.
Crackbacks in the building. The old man had to fall. He went to sleep early. I'm going to throw a graphic in the corner with him asleep. But we got Reeky Leaky in the building. He's back. Missed us last week. And the man down at the bottom, of course, the digital Wookiee. Still wearing the Eagles hat.
You got lucky you don't have to wear the fucking Cowboys gear tonight.
You know, I would have gladly worn it.
But it will still happen.
I'm down. I'll still do it. A bet is a bet. Also, like this shirt I'm wearing right now, you can see it, is ironic. It says Falcons no football. Fucking bullshit, dude. I'm yelling at the TV while the ball is rolling 10 yards down. You can touch it. They can't. Why is it I know the rule and the 11 people on the field
and they're like standing there.
Rule?
They're standing there looking at it like, okay, what should we do?
Yeah, they're staring at it roll, and then it literally. All right, so there's 5 Falcons staring at this fucking ball saucer its way 10 yards down the field, and it gets to about 8 yards, and one of the Cowboys literally steps inside and screens off 3 of the Falcons. That game's fucking over at that point. Dan Quinn should have been fired that night. They should have taken his plane ticket from him and made him pay his own way back to Atlanta. It's fucking over, dude. It is absolutely fucking over for Dan Quinn in Atlanta. Done.
Why are you always so enthusiastic about getting other people fired?
If you're doing your job, I never wanted to fire Bobby Bowden. I never wanted to fire Jimbo. The people that deserve to get fired deserve to get fired. And Dan Quinn, we went to the Super Bowl, had the collapse.
Willie Taggart wanted to start a website and a movement and a GoFundMe and everything.
Well, they've already done that. There's billboards in Atlanta with Fire Dan Quinn up already.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the buck stops at Dan Quinn, but like even going to the micro version of it, the special teams coordinator has got to be telling the guys, all right, this is an onside kick, and you run through every single scenario. And that's aside from everything else that's going on, because if I recall correctly, when the Cowboys first lined up for the onside, they called a timeout. So that's when you're running over all the scenarios.
Exactly.
And they didn't know, or they were told not to, which is both stupid.
But the thing is, you practice that. You practice that in the preseason. You practice that every single week.
Well, there was no preseason.
They didn't practice it enough, apparently.
Every team has their own preseason. And you know that in football, first of all, for anybody that doesn't know football, in that situation, there's what's called a hands team. Yeah. Guys that are supposed to have good hands, receivers, D-backs, guys who can catch the ball on a bounce and just go down and not have to bobble it. They have good hands, so they're on the hands team. Guys like that are on the hands team their whole career, in high school, in college, in the pros. So they all should know. Just kind of firing the special teams coordinator for one play when the Falcons have blown major leads in the past, and we all know.
You got to chop it off at the head. I don't think the special
teams coordinator should get fired for that.
Yeah.
It's almost
it is a new guy, though. The old guy, Keith Armstrong's gone.
And you said they called a timeout to, like, talk to them beforehand. Yeah. It's almost as if somebody told them, don't touch the ball until it goes 10 yards. Because they were standing at the 10-yard mark and just looking at it.
But real talk, dude, even if they touched it early and you get a penalty and they have to re-kick it from the 50 instead of the 35 or whatever, you're in better shape still than letting the fucking roll.
The team receiving the ball doesn't get a penalty, but the thing is, a lot of times they'll kick it dead at you and it'll bounce off your chest or something like that.
Not the case this time.
So they don't tell the receiving guys to go up and get the ball. They tell the receiving guys to wait for the ball to come to you. But you don't sit there and fucking look at the ball while it's on the ground.
It was like
the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Slow ass roll, like a 20-foot putt down there. It was going.
That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Literally yelling at the TV, grab the ball. They had one timeout. Atlanta recovers the ball. It's over.
Whose sideline was it on? Was it on the Dallas sideline or the Falcons sideline?
It was towards the Dallas sideline.
So the Dallas players might have been yelling, "Don't touch it! Don't touch it!"
And the idiots on the field,
which is a good move.
Yeah, that would be a good move. Because to my understanding, as long as when it's a little squib kick like that, I think as long as the ball's after 5 yards, the receiving team can touch it. It's just the kicking team can't.
You can touch it whenever you want. You can run up and grab it off the fucking tee if you want. There's no rule against that.
Right away. They're kicking the ball
in the last couple of years, they put in a rule because the kamikaze onside kicks where they used to have like 4 or 5 guys just run and try and blast people, and then the ball would come in behind them. They've made a rule against that the last couple of years.
And see, that's why I thought with the new rules that was added to it, that the 5-yard rule. I may be wrong, but I know that the rules changed, and I thought that added to it.
Now, what probably happened was that they got caught off guard. Now, Greg Zuerlein's got a big leg. A man's nickname is Greg the Leg. He was probably expecting what gets said right there, where he's going to fire a rocket into whoever's right in front of him.
The end-over-end bouncer. That's what they usually do.
And try to get it to bounce off of somebody where it's, it's just going and, wherever, and they can't grab it clean.
Yeah.
And this little thing's rolling slowly down. Even before we got to that, we just keep – dude, 28-3 in the Super Bowl. The only overtime loss, Super Bowl, biggest loss, whatever. This last Sunday here, first team in NFL history to score 39 points in a game, have no turnovers, and lose. Yeah. 447 other instances that happened.
Yeah, Matt Ryan had a QBR of almost 90 that game. He was balling.
Calvin Ridley. I'm sending links to guests to watch Calvin Ridley routes in the first half.
Yo, watch the route on this touchdown.
The offense is not the issue. And this dude was supposed to be this defensive guru. He was supposed to come in. He's supposed to take a mediocre defense and make it decent. This team has, if you look at the roster, other than very young corners, Keanu Neal's fully healthy, first-round pick. Your boy Jones, Deion Jones, middle linebacker, one of the upper middle linebackers in the NFL.
Pro Bowl player.
Grady Jarrett can ball. He ain't Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's by far the best defensive tackle in the game, but Grady Jarrett's top 5, easy. Grady Jarrett can ball. Dante Fowler was balling. This guy can't turn. I just gave you half the defense right there. This guy can't turn them into a viable. You can't stop a team from scoring more than 39 points. Then when your offense goes out and puts in work, he's got to go. He absolutely has to go. Deion Jones should be Bobby Wagner.
Deion Jones is nasty. He's a Pro Bowl player. But the thing that's unforgivable is if there's one team that shouldn't blow a halftime lead, it's the Falcons.
Yeah.
The 28-3 in the Super Bowl, there's people making fun of you for years.
Foot should never come off the pedal.
Say what you want about Kyle Shanahan not being there anymore, but Dan Quinn was the head coach. Dan Quinn has to understand, okay, we got a monster halftime lead. Let's run the ball. Let's play some defense. Let's shut this down. But as always, they go into the bullshit prevent defense and let the guy throw the ball over the park, and you let the team back in the game.
Quarterbacks start getting the rhythm.
It's not about the one onside kick. It's about the whole second half.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. They let Dak Prescott get 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, seriously. Where's the defensive line? Where's the – and literally, he didn't get touched on 2 of them. He walked in on 2 of them. Absolutely inexcusable for this guy who's supposed to be a defensive maven, a defensive wizard. He needs to go. Now, the other thing is, too, it might be too many hands in the kitchen. Is it too many cooks, fuck up the soup or whatever? Yep. Right now, Jeff Ulbrich, who's the associate defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, he calls the plays on first and second down. Raheem Morris calls the plays on third down, and Quinn's on the headset for all 3. There's too much shit going on, dude. Way too much shit. Pick one guy. The defense is yours. The play calling, at least. The defensive play calling is yours. So they're going to be arguing. I'm sure calls are getting in late because one guy says, let's run this. The other guy says, let's run this. Then Quinn's got to be the mediator in the middle. You're overcomplicating shit. And that's why they're fucking losing. You're not supposed to lose when you score 39 points. Your quarterback throws 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. And we had 3 turnovers. They fumbled the ball 3 times in the first quarter.
They had a lot of punch-outs in the first quarter. I like that. But also, as a defensive coordinator, with what you just described sounds completely ridiculous to me. Because a defensive coordinator, you're going more on the feel of the game. You do a full scout on what that team runs and what situations and what plays, formations, and stuff that they run. On offense, you kind of script your own shit. I mean, yeah, you go against their defensive looks, but you're running your own stuff. It's more creative. Yeah. Defensively, you're just trying to go by feel
reacting
and what they might run. And, okay, let's put the defense in this situation because this is what they're probably going to run. So if you got 3 different guys calling defensive plays, that's never going to work.
It's asinine.
And if there's one thing that, I could mention just about the offense in general that I think very few teams in the NFL do, which the winning teams did, and I even think Kansas City was such a pass-heavy offense started doing in the playoffs. The 4-minute offense, man. You paid Todd Gurley all this money when you were up 2 scores. Where was he? Your defense is bad. At least give the defense a break. We know you can score in 2 minutes. So why not try the 4-minute offense, keep them off field, so then if you need the ball with 2 minutes left, you're confident to score rather than giving them the ball.
And remember at one point I asked you, I was like, is Gurley hurt? Because Ito Smith is getting all these carries.
Well, they have him on a little bit of a pitch count. So if it's a little dive play up the middle, or they're just trying to get 2 yards on a quick edge play or whatever, they'll run Ito Smith or Brian Hill out there just because they don't want to be pounding him just in the back, in the back of his lineman.
But when the game's on the line, you fucking
exactly.
win the game.
One more loss, season's over. If they lose Sunday, season's over. Pack it up, go home. Everybody's done. Which is absolutely dude. We have let's fucking look at it. Matt Ryan right now leads the NFL in completions, yardage, and he's second in touchdowns behind Russell Wilson, and he's 0-2.
But let me offer some perspective on the other side for you, Joel. How have the Saints and the Buccaneers looked through the first 2 weeks?
Well, I would like to send a sincere thank you out to Chucky, John Gruden, and the rest of the, I'm going to say correctly here, Las Vegas Raiders. They took the blow of the boneheaded play that the fucking Dirty Birds had to do on Sunday, and just beating Drew Brees and making Drew Brees look like Grandpa Drew Brees on national television took a little bit of the sting away. And so I want to say thank you to Chucky. He's done, dude. He can't throw the ball with any sort of velocity or accuracy past like 15 yards. He's got an arm of a flag football quarterback now. He's still accurate, but the ball floats out there. He threw one to Brashard Perriman.
I know some flag football quarterbacks that have guns.
One of them sleeping in the other room, right? Yeah, right. One of them. One of them plays sandlot ball. But did you? And I'm sure it's Monday night. There's nothing else on. We don't watch the game. Did you watch Breeze? Did you? But any of on his arm? What does it look like to you?
So
there was a lot of wind in there, so I don't know if you can blame it on Breeze.
No, I agree with you. I think Breeze never really had an elite arm to begin with. So I think the fact that he doesn't throw as well as before, they don't need him to do that with this offense. They're also a run-heavy team. And if you look at it, a lot of the passes he missed, like there was receivers just breaking their routes. That was just poor execution all around.
Well, his number one guy wasn't there. Thomas.
Yeah, they didn't have Michael Thomas.
And
one of their linemen was out.
First game in Las Vegas on Monday night. The Saints are hurt. Like the Saints will be fine.
I'm not even talking scheme though, because that box is going to get very, very full, and Kamara is going to have a difficult time, and Latavius Murray is going to have a difficult time if he can't throw the ball 20 yards down the field. It's just your offense can't operate in a 15-yard square, in a 15-yard bubble, and his arm's not going to allow him to get it further down. They're in trouble, dude. They'll win because Sean Payton's smart.
I think it's a little soon to say he's done, though.
Well, no, he's done because once you see that decline in arm strength, it starts going. He's Chad Pennington level right now.
They've been saying that about Brady for like 6 years, and he won 2 Super Bowls after that.
Brady's arm is much stronger than Breeze's arm is right now.
But Breeze in week 1, though, against Tampa, Breeze made some nice fade routes to Jared Cook for like 40-plus yards was one of them. So
Breeze threw I think it's over 30. I bet you had to ice that arm down immediately after he threw that.
He's old.
He might have been at the craps table the night before. His arm
he threw the ball to Traquan Smith. It was like a little 35 seam route, and he literally, his whole body had to wind up to get that ball out there. They were talking about it on ESPN today earlier that around week 6 or 7, Saints fans going to be looking at the sideline trying to get your boy Jabu in there.
J-Boo.
I thought Taysom Hill was the backup.
Come on, man. Let's be serious. Let's spend a moment on Taysom Hill. A Taysom Hill moment here. Gadget quarterback. You know this, dude. If they put him in there at quarterback, he'll last 2 games before they put in Jabu.
Well, here's a good question for you guys, though. Who would run the offense better? Taysom Hill for the Saints or Jalen Hurts for the Eagles?
Come on, stop with this bullshit.
Yeah,
It's just a
Stop with this
hypothetical
bullshit.
It's
Stop with
100%
this
Hurts.
bullshit.
It's 100%
Stop with this
Hurts.
bullshit.
It's 100% Hurts.
What? Did you watch Hurts play at Oklahoma last year?
But
Did you
Hurts
watch
is better than
Taysom
Taysom
One
Hill.
game.
But
Did either
listen,
of you watch Jalen Hurts play
Absolutely.
one game
We're
at
comparing
Oklahoma
to
last year?
Taysom Hill.
we're comparing him to Taysom Hill. We're comparing him to Taysom Hill.
I've never seen Taysom Hill play quarterback, so I don't know.
I went and watched the highlight package of his because if you're gonna hate,
Where's he
you have
from?
to know what you're
BYU?
hating. BYU, sir, and he's 30 years old. That's the other thing. So
Is he really?
Yeah, man.
He's been in the league forever.
He's been in the league, and he went on. They have to go on mission when they graduate from school. So he left.
Yeah, I remember
BYU.
Sean Bradley was gone for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Had to go on mission and then came back, and now he's playing ball, and he's a gadget player. They brought him in to throw a deep pass yesterday because Breeze's arm is dead. Just talking about that again. But Taysom Hill never, ever will be a viable starting quarterback in the NFL. If he
Neither
ever
will
gets to start
Jalen
because
Hurts,
of injury.
homie. I'm putting it on record right now. Neither will
If
Jalen
I had
Hurts.
to pick well, you may be
The only
right,
reason
but
they
one's going to be
drafted him-
shittier than the other,
The
and the
only
shittier
reason
one
they
is Taysom
drafted
Hill.
him is for gadget plays. They probably saw the shit that the Saints were doing with Taysom Hill, and they definitely saw all the shit the Ravens were doing with Lamar Jackson. That's
we
why
don't
they
disagree
drafted
with
Hurts.
we don't disagree with you. The
Not that I
conversation
disagree
is
with you
just
at all.
who would be better between him or Taysom Hill. That
I'm
doesn't
putting
mean
to
that they're the
you
same
this.
problem.
I'm putting to you this way, right? Your boy Jalen Hurts is a bottom of the barrel, like a high school cafeteria hamburger. That's what Jalen Hurts is, a cafeteria hamburger. Taysom Hill is the hamburger you would get in prison. That's what said. Neither one is good. Just one is worse than the other.
Exactly.
Again, I've never tried prison food, so I don't want to.
I'm assuming I have watched Oz, and the
I know
hamburgers
dudes
is
who
not
go to
look good.
prison and get much bigger, so the food can't be that bad.
Oh, that's all. That's all the steroids that they're sneaking in.
Yeah.
They took
That's
weights.
something different.
It caps out at 200 pounds now in prisons.
You can do a lot with 200 pounds.
But you also aren't going to get the same
You get
prison
those
score
midgets
with
that go
400
one
pounds.
arm, 200 pounds on each.
If you're a midget, now this is not a sports question here, but maybe you guys could answer this for me. Prison is very segregated. The blacks stay with the blacks, the whites stay with the whites, Spanish stay with the Spanish. Do the midgets go with their race or with other midgets?
They go with their race because there ain't no other midgets in there.
There's got to be. There's got to be
one or two.
Law
There's maybe
of
one or
averages,
two.
There's not many midgets in there.
Yeah.
I'm googling right now. This is why we need a young Jamie. How many
And for
incarcerated
midgets,
little
it's
people?
easier to get away from the police. They can hide. They can get
No,
smaller
there
spaces.
is no
They
way.
can't.
They can't run
Midget-
at all, dude.
It's
Those little
easier for
legs.
midgets to get away.
Oh,
Now,
my
if
God.
there's
They
a
can just
hill,
find a small bush and hide, and you'll never get them.
if there is a hill, it's easier for midgets to get away because they'll just tuck up and roll down the hill. But if it's a flat surface in, for instance, Florida streets, there's no way a midget's getting away from a BSO. It's flat ground. Those little ass
They'll just-
legs, dude.
They'll just dive in the canal, and they'll breathe like Rambo, upside down. They'll just have the mouth out of the top of the water breathing. Cops will never find them.
That was overly descriptive, like you thought of this before.
There's actually a stat on here. There are 751 little people in prison at the present
And do you know how
moment.
many prisons there are? That's got to average out less than one.
Less than
midget
one per prison. Yeah.
No.
Definitely.
Easily.
But here's the
And
question.
you're not even talking about like county jail. You're just talking about prisons.
Yeah.
There's women's prison. There's federal prison. Is there a special prison for the midgets?
Women have midgets too, man.
Oh, Joe.
Shouts out to our little people population. We're here for you. If you ever need something from a top shelf, you can't see over
Yeah,
the counter.
and for the record, I'm
I got
always
you.
calling you midgets. I'm not calling you dwarfs. Not calling you little people. You're fucking midgets.
You see, everything was fine until you threw the fucking on there.
Yeah.
Bill
yeah.
Nah, man.
Bill Burr said it. You got to put the fucking after the word. Because then you'd be like, oh, this midget motherfucker is not as bad as this fucking midget motherfucker. Yeah, so you got to put the fucker after.
Yeah,
Midget
agreed.
motherfucker instead of motherfucking midget.
Whatever. I was out on New Year's Eve one time, and this girl we were chilling with, I was saying midgets about something, and she came right up on me, and she was like, they don't like to be called midgets. I was like, do you see any of them around here? Should I be scared? And she was like, no, I have people in my family that are little people.
They'll
They
probably
prefer to
laugh
be-
at the joke.
They prefer to be called dwarves or little people. I was like, cool. Tell them I said, what's up, midget?
Here's the truth, man.
I don't give a fuck.
I want to be called dwarf either. I'd rather be called midget than dwarf.
Yeah, same.
Dwarf,
I'd rather be called midget
more
than dwarf.
acceptable term.
Midget
Dwarf
sounds
like,
way better than dwarf.
I agree.
Dwarf
Midget sounds
is like
way
a
better.
fantasy term that you're living in the Shire, sandaling down your feet.
Dwarf is the worst one. And little people also seem to be.
They apparently think dwarf is acceptable and midget is not.
Well, I mean, they don't see a lot of the world. They're blocked. They're looking at crotches all day and fucking ass cracks. So I understand they have a limited world view. It's like people living in Arkansas and Wyoming. They have a limited world view. So I understand that they're not. They need help. So listen,
I only feel bad for midgets that go to concerts because they can't see anything.
Well, here's the thing, right? We're gonna do our part.
I'm a very
so
tall
all three
man.
of us.
And I still got to find a spot to look and see the stage. I can only
All
imagine.
three of us are over 6 feet tall. So the next time we go to a concert, if you're a midget and you see any of us, come tap us on the shoulder.
No,
you're not helping
me.
the midget? You're not helping the midget.
I'm opting out.
Gets is opting out of helping the midget. I will help. Enrique, will you help a midget?
Because once you help one of them
I mean, why
there's
not?
15 kids behind you in line trying to get up the crowd.
No kids.
No
kids. Unless the kid is dwarfism, which means the kid's a midget, then the kid can come up. But no, if you're a normie, you're a regular tallie, nah, son, back up. You can stand there all you want. This homie right here, he can't see shit. I got you. Boom, right up here.
And it's a one song only.
Yeah, no, them motherfuckers are dense. They're heavy. I'm not holding that thing.
The only one I would hold up is Master Blaster from Mad Max.
You would hold up a bunch of midgets. You would hold up.
Nah.
You would hold up. You would hold up Hornswoggle. You would hold up.
Well,
Vern
he's a leprechaun, so he might bite me.
Vern Troyer didn't weigh much of anything.
Vern Troyer was also a raging alcoholic and pissed on everyone that got near him.
Willow, you wouldn't hold up
Willow.
Willow.
Put him on your shoulder.
You wouldn't hold up Willow.
Willow's a legend. All right.
You got Willow.
That's a different level of midget. Yeah. If I see Willow at a concert, I'm throwing him on my shoulder and we're going for a row.
What about the plane boss? The plane, Fantasy Island.
He was also crazy.
I'm exhausted all midgets right now, though. Oh, Bushwick Bill. Rest in peace.
What about Gary Coleman?
Bill?
Bushwick gets the boost. Gary Coleman could go fuck himself. He was an asshole. And that murderous little thing, Webster, who was like 35 years old, and they played him off as a little tiny kid.
Yeah, that was lying.
That was wrong.
Yeah. Now,
look at Enrique. He don't even know who Webster is.
No,
Enrique. Okay, so
no
Enrique,
clue who Webster is.
I'm going to put another graphic up here. Enrique's young as fuck. So in the early 1980s, 83, 84, somewhere around there, Emmanuel Lewis was a almost full-grown person. He had kidney issues when he was a child, smoked cigarettes, drank bourbon when he was like 5, all that
almost
kind of shit.
full-grown is
I'm being nice, right?
His height.
Am I being very, very generous right here? He's like 4'10", something like that.
He was the height of like someone's thigh. Like stand up, put your hand in the middle of your thigh. That's how big he was.
Yeah. He was an adult chronologically.
He was like 35 years old.
And he was
like
playing
3 feet tall.
He was playing a preschooler on TV.
Oh my gosh.
He was also, shocker here, very close friends with Michael Jackson.
Shocker.
So yeah, Emmanuel Lewis. Now between now and next week, you're gonna have to watch all 4 seasons of Webster.
No, don't bother. Don't bother.
I'll send you the links.
If there's anything that's disrespectful to midgets, it's that show.
Webster was terrible.
They used to put him in the closet. They had this old ass thing that would
dumbwaiter.
Was that? Yeah, that's what it's called. Where you could fucking take shit from the kitchen to the upstairs. They would put him in that and use it as like an elevator for him.
Yeah. I never saw him see the stairs. We don't know if he could use the stairs or if they allowed him to use the stairs. He was always up in the cabinet.
Up a flight of stairs.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen. He would have to do it like I would figure. Emmanuel Lewis would climb stairs like how a kangaroo would. They're almost on all 4s, but not quite, and they're army crawling up the stairs a little bit. That's how I see him. He was very, very small.
I bet you he was wicked on some Hot Wheels, though.
Well, like low center of gravity.
Busting corners and doing like Tokyo drift slides. I bet you Webster was nasty on Hot Wheels.
This is the most disrespectful podcast of all time. Speaking of Webster, Enrique, you wanted to talk about Kyler Murray. Check that segue out right there. Kyler Murray.
Nicely done.
Number one, much better than I thought he was going to be in the league. I'm like, he's not going to be able to see over the line. He's going to get hit 1 or 2 times and he's done. He's pretty fucking good, actually. And team with DeAndre Hopkins, a legit wide receiver, O'Brien's the dumbest coach / GM in the entire NFL. Arizona's nice.
And they got Fitchers too.
So who's going to teach Christian Kirk how to be a professional wide receiver? Who's going to make Hopkins better? Because as good as Hopkins has there been a better straight technician at wide receiver other than maybe Jerry Rice than Larry Fitzgerald?
No, Larry Fitzgerald is the man.
He does everything perfect. He has more tackles than dropped passes in his career. So his quarterback has thrown more picks, and he's tackled the person who's thrown the pick more often than he's dropped a pass in the NFL.
And he's been in the league as long as Webster has been off TV.
And also, by no coincidence, their defense has steadily improved, and they took the best defensive player in the draft,
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah. So I mean, now this is how they were smart. Now you have a guy who was the first round draft pick in baseball. That already says a lot. He's not going to have a weak arm because you're not going to be a first round pick in baseball with a weak arm. And he didn't run in the combine, but the film shows he's a 4.4 speed kind of guy. So if you put the right coach that was going to buy in to using him as a weapon rather than a prototypical quarterback, which is what Kingsbury's done his entire career, especially early, it was almost guaranteed success. And now Kingsbury doesn't have to run these gimmick plays. Now it's like, are you better than my guy? And there is no guy that can cover Hopkins. And they got Larry Fitzgerald. Christian Kirk is
not a bad 3.
Yeah. I mean, they got some weapons on that team.
It's funny we're talking about Cliff Kingsbury being a good coach. This is amusing to me.
Yeah.
His house is dope, though. I will give him that.
His house is sick.
He most certainly had the best house of all the coaches.
And he's always been a good offensive coach, you know?
Yeah. And Greeny thinks he's a very handsome man as well, on the level of a Jimmy Garoppolo or a David Carr, but we can discuss that at a later time.
But he does have
no chance. He's not in David Carr's league.
But he does have arguably the most dynamic quarterback in the NFL. Now, I'm going to set Patrick Mahomes. Because if you chase that guy out of the pocket, man, you're probably better to keep him in the pocket. He's more pretty accurate thrower, too.
And who else have we ever seen that it's baseball like? He doesn't get hit. In college, you see the tape. You see it now in the NFL. He never gets tackled, like those big tackles.
Russell Wilson is like that.
Russell Wilson never gets hit.
But he's more elusive than Russell Wilson, in my opinion. He's got more shape.
He's littler.
Yeah, but when you're talking about like the sliding and then not taking hits.
Oh, yeah, Russell Wilson. Sure.
Russell Wilson played baseball, so he has a baseball slide. When you see like Cam or Big Ben try to go down on the run, it doesn't look good.
They're not.
They couldn't slide either. The Falcons brought in Terry Pendleton to try to teach Michael Vick how to slide because they were afraid he was going to get his cleat caught on him and rip his ankle up. He couldn't slide at all. So Vick here just came into the conversation again. Who he said? He said Dan Orlovsky called Kyler Murray Vic. Last year, everyone was calling Lamar Jackson Vic. Who's the more Vic-like between the two of them?
Wait, are you saying Vic is better than those two guys?
Well, last year,
I really don't think he was.
Probably not. He was just the first. So when you get the super mobile quarterback out there, go ahead and rank the 3 of them if you want. If you were picking the 3, how would you rank them? At one point, Vic was the ultimate weapon. Now the game has evolved a little bit.
In college, Vic was the best player I've ever seen. But in the pros,
we went to 2 NFC Championship games as a guy not practicing.
And what happened?
We lost. We lost. Had he practiced, might have been different. But I'm saying we got the 2 NFC Championship games.
Brian Dawkins is on our team.
Yeah, and Lamar has yet to win a playoff game. So my order is Kyler Murray, Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson.
In what order? Are you going up or down there?
I'm going. No, Kyler Murray to me is number 1.
I don't think Get's not respecting your list there if he's asking you if they're going up or down.
No, I'm not, because I didn't know if you were saying Kyler Murray's number 1 or number 3.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray's number 1, Vic number 2, Lamar number 3. In terms of individual quarterback prospect.
So you think Kyler Murray's better than Vic, but Kyler Murray hasn't won a playoff game either yet.
Yeah, but he's also got less time in the league. Yeah, he hasn't played in one yet.
But he's only got 1 extra year in the Lamar, so it's not like Lamar, the shit in the
so you can't really take that away from Lamar Jackson if you're saying pure ability.
Yeah, because he looked terrible. He got better the second game, but the first game didn't look very good at all, and the first half of the second game didn't look very good at all. Like, if he was at least matched the production, I would not hold that against him. But the fact that he did look very poor says something.
Jackson's got one thing that the other two didn't have. He's a big man. That's number one.
Yeah.
So that helps me lean a little bit towards Jackson just because of his physical tools. He's just the three of them are pretty much. I mean, if we're talking speed, Vic is probably the fastest. Jackson's in the middle, and then
let's be honest. Out of the three of them, Vic was the least accurate quarterback out of all three by far.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed. But I think he had a better throwing talent in terms of speed.
He had an absolute
Lamar
cannon.
Jackson.
So does Lamar Jackson.
He just didn't know exactly where the ball was going.
No, I agree, but I think Vic was actually a little better. And I think Murray has the best arm out of the three of them. Murray's got
Murray's the most accurate out of the three of them. Lamar Jackson, I think you're selling Lamar Jackson short.
I've learned over the years the actual arm strength and the speed of the ball is probably the least important thing. Because Kyle Bowler could throw bullets. And he was absolute garbage.
Kyle Bowler.
He was absolute garbage.
He took a knee and
Jamarcus
threw the ball
Russell,
75 yards.
Jamarcus Russell could throw it through a brick wall, and he sucked. So just saying that somebody has a better arm, doesn't mean that much.
I talked about the whole ability of throwing, the touch throws, not just deep throws. Like as a passer,
Vic got better as a passer. Vic on the Eagles was a much better passer than he was on the Falcons.
And
that's because Andy Reid.
I still think Lamar is a limited passer.
He got good coach. The other thing is too, if Dan Reeves had stayed around longer, Vic would have been a better passer in Atlanta as well. They gave him fucking Jim Mora Jr. and that was it. Jim Mora Jr. is doing donuts in D'Angelo Hall's Ferrari in Flowery Branch at the Falcon Center. Come on,
crash
guy.
it?
No, he didn't. I wish he did. I wish he would have crashed it and never able to walk the sideline to coach again. That guy, although I may take him back over Dan Quinn right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of I think it was Eddie Griffin, the comedian? They let him test drive a Ferrari, and 3 seconds after he gets in it, he crashed it right into a wall.
Was he test driving, or did he actually? I thought he just bought it. He just literally signed the paperwork and all.
I think it was just a promo for a commercial or something. And they were like, "Yeah, go in, get in it and get a whip," and it was boom, immediately.
Back to the original point, and I think this is where we see the shift in the NFL, which is why a lot of these guys are coming better, because now finally the good GMs are they stop looking at these prospects in the quarterback prism. He needs to check this. He's like, okay, if I got a weapon, I'm going to use him as a weapon, and that just never happened before in the NFL. That's why it's so exciting now. And,
goddamn haircut.
And it worked for everybody except for Baker Mayfield. He's still garbage.
But if you looked at the film in Oklahoma, he was never that fast. You didn't look at the film wow, man, this guy's super elusive. He's super fast.
They always call those guys
Murray or Baker Mayfield?
No, Baker Mayfield. In college, you watch his film, he evaded some throws in the pocket, but he never made any electrifying runs. You guys couldn't touch Murray in the Big 12. You have to be untouchable in the Big 12.
Kyler Murray had that one, I think it was against Oklahoma State, when Gus Johnson was like, look at this! And, my man just dusted everybody down the sideline.
He's a different kind of athlete.
And I remember, I think I texted Joel that very moment, this dude Kyler Murray is nasty.
Are they the best team in the NFC?
No.
We've been talking about it a lot.
No.
Who's the best team?
I don't know if you can say anybody's the best team after 2 weeks. I don't like doing that. No.
Yeah.
You get matchup problems. You get injuries. After 2 weeks, you don't know who's the best team.
They do look pretty strong out the gate, though.
They're already talking about MVP on ESPN. Seriously, after 2 games?
That's for ratings.
It's because Russell Wilson has 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
So who's playing best so far? It's Seattle and Green Bay. In terms of who's playing the best football through week 2. Does that mean they'll be the best in the end of the season? I don't know. Seattle still has to play the Rams and 49ers D-line 4 times each.
Your boy is on a mission, though.
Yeah.
Adams is balling.
The weather also changes.
He didn't look that good the last game, though, against the Patriots. He had a big tackle, but overall, there was some suspect coverage.
Cam. You talking about the Patriots.
That's right, baby.
Up on Cam.
Everybody was talking shit when I drafted him. You guys were on this program saying he wasn't going to do shit. I've been saying it for months.
Said
that Cam is not proven.
We were saying he was scared of the shoulder. We didn't know if he was healthy. He looks healthy.
Yeah. I said I question his health. I said if he was healthy, there's no way you have the best coach ever in NFL history.
I'll go back
with
and
another weapon.
I'll go back and dig in the crackbacks files.
All we said, we all
I was talking about Cam, and you guys were saying no.
I said health. I didn't say ability. I didn't never question his ability. I said health. I just questioned if because he looks good right now, but that doesn't mean he can't get hurt next week. That doesn't mean he can't get hurt next week.
He's throwing the ball with a lot of velocity. He got the ball down the field to Edelman a couple of times. Really tight spirals.
And he's barely learned the Patriot scheme. Like, once he gets all those little pivot routes with Edelman and shit, and they start connecting on that, right now he's just throwing it downfield to the tight end and to N'Keal Harry, and then he just runs for the touchdown. Anytime they get inside the 10, he's running, which the other night at the end of that Seattle game, horrible offensive call to give him the ball again at the end for the 2-point.
They're trying to do this little quarterback draw from the 3. Too far out, man.
And they executed that fake one so well.
Everybody on earth knows what play you're going to run. Why would you fucking call that play again?
Exactly.
Do a little pop pass. Do a little pop pass like Tebow used to do.
Yeah, the jump pass.
Let him act like he's going to run it and then throw it over the top.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's 6'6". Use it.
Well, we're about to take a break in just 1 second. I'm going to leave you with a shocker right now. Patriots are going back to the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks in, I'll give you the one caveat, a little star on there. If his shoulder starts to unravel, Cam's got to stay healthy for the 16 games through the regular season. If his shoulder stays healthy, they're winning the AFC East, and they're going to the Super Bowl. He's
over the Dolphins?
Only if Bam Adebayo decides to play left tackle.
It's over.
For the Dolphins.
Yeah, Bam joins the Dolphins. It's over. Undefeated season.
1972 all over again. If Bam Adebayo decides to play left tackle. Be back in 2 minutes.
Down A.
Back in 2 minutes. Crack back.
Game 7, you got to stick with whatever underwear you have on.
We got that on record, so
now you already fucked it up.
Yeah, you scarred it already.
Yeah, so I didn't want to say anything else so we were on record. I peeked over before I said something.
It was recording in the corner.
Yeah.
The Heat, when I flip the game on, they ordinarily do go on a run the moment it goes on there because the sports gods just don't want me to be happy, which is why I'm a
me too.
fan.
I'm a Knicks and Jets fan, so.
Yeah. Getz suffered for years before the Eagles gave him some glory, so he still understands.
Yo, man, I stuck with my teams through many last-place seasons. Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, god-awful for fucking years. They called it the process.
Forever. The Phillies have been consistently decent your whole life.
Yeah, they had Andy Reid.
They were Phillies for the most part.
They had more success in the Jets. They had more success in the Jets.
The Phillies or the Eagles?
Eagles, sorry.
Oh, yeah. The Eagles have usually been pretty good throughout my life. There was a couple of years where they were really fucking bad. And thank God, that's why they got McNabb and Reed and Andy Reid. Yeah, right after Kotite, when like Ray Rhodes and shit, when they had nobody, they sucked. We were like, I remember one year we were like 3-13. I think that's the year we got McNabb. But the Phillies were years and years. Like they were good in the early 80s and for 1 year in 93 when everybody took steroids. Other than that, they sucked.
Steroids, coke, and meth.
They sucked for years.
Steroids, coke, and meth. That was Nails, Jim Eisenreich, Dutch Dalton.
It wasn't until like early 2000s when like Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins, Cole Hamels all came up through the system all at the same time. That's when the Phillies started to have some promise and brought home the title.
Well, you know what? In talking about baseball, can we give the Marlins some love here? The team
2 minutes of Marlins talk.
The team was supposed to be
I'll
dead
let you
last.
stare at the Yankees fan while you talk about Marlins talk there. Look how Sage feels about Marlins talk.
They were picked dead last, and they're in the playoffs. It's a young team. I'm telling you, Joel, they are headed in the right direction.
They might make the playoffs.
There's like 7 games left.
You just screwed them up. You
but
know
they
that,
only
right?
have like they're only up by like a half game on the team behind them.
No,
they're not making the playoffs now just because you said that. You just claimed that they were in the playoffs.
You jinxed
them.
I don't believe so.
They're done. Between you, Jinx, and Jeter, they have no chance.
We'll see. I'm not saying they're going to win the series or anything, but I think the fact that they are where they are right now is a lot further than what everybody gave them credit for.
I'm waiting for A-Rod to buy the team. Then I'll be.
Can we give credit to Donnie Baseball?
Yeah,
It's
dude.
Don Mattingly, for Christ's sake.
Dude,
Yes, I will give credit to Donnie Baseball because Donnie Baseball is fighting to keep that slop of a freaking roster that what did you call it? The biracial angel put together.
The
Derek Jeter. Angel. Derek Jeter comes down here and starts throwing off assets. This is just ridiculous, man. They got in the playoffs. If they get in the playoffs, I'm still on record that they're going to fuck it up before the playoffs even start. And you just jinxed them. It's going to make it even harder for them right there. I hope you don't sleep well tonight knowing that all of those young players that you were just giving props to for coming through, you just jinxed them. They're not making the playoffs anymore. They're going to be at home in October, bored with their families, thinking about how they could have been, how they're probably going to get traded. If they make the playoffs, Jeter trades the whole team after the season's over. That's what happens.
Let me ask you something honestly, Joel. For as much shit as you talk about the Marlins and Jeter and how mad you are at Jeter, do you ever actually watch Marlins games?
I have watched a total of 13 innings of this season. I'll give you two things on the Marlins. I do still watch the sports on the local channel. It usually comes on right before the weather. So I still watch some highlights. But I can't watch a baseball game on TV anymore, man. I can have it on the side while dishes are being done.
You talk all this shit about Jeter, and you don't even support the team. You don't even.
I'm not supporting the team that traded back-to-back MVPs away. That's the problem.
But again,
I watched baseball when the outfield was Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton, and they had. Yeah, exactly. We went to games then. Well, I mean, you can't go to games now, but I supported that team. Granted, I think that Jeter's the one that steered. What was the pitcher? Fernandez. Jeter hopped on the boat and drove the boat into the rocks, dove into the water, and swam off. That's how bad he wanted to destroy the Marlins.
So explain to me how all three guys were naked when they crashed.
Jeter stripped them all and then drove back to the water.
Jesus.
Drove back to the water. And he had
the man's a national legend. You're talking about Derek Jeter here.
I know. But dude, but you also have to look at the other side. I don't even think Stanton's played 60 games since we got him. So you're talking about a team that can't afford him to pay him not to play.
But he was supposed to play those 60 games in a Marlins uniform. That's the problem we're talking about here.
They
made more than enough money to pay him. If you can't afford to pay a star player to stay in your city, sell the team. That's what they needed to do faster. No, they needed to do it faster. But you know what they did? They sold it to a dude just as broke. Derek Jeter is rich for a regular dude walking around on the street. He is poor as shit for an MLB owner. They should have sold it
to an ownership group.
They should have sold it to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban should have bought the Marlins.
Yes.
And Mark Cuban, his name is Cuban. The Miami Marlins. His name is Cuban. How perfect is that?
You can sell the sandwich at the stadium.
Cuban's Cuban. You can have a Mark Cuban's Cuban at the stadium. But no, they sell it to Jeter.
That is impressive.
They say exactly. Look at it. He wanted Mark Cuban in Miami.
Just one sandwich.
Can I get a Mark Cuban?
Just want sandwiches. He wants a Mark Cuban's Cuban.
He heard you saying sandwiches.
I don't know how you can say that in like the baseball voice, or like "I Scooby hit," or like you do like
Mark Cuban over here.
There you go. Jeter need to
go. Who wants some Mark Cuban over here?
But I will say this: as far as the people,
get your hot dog.
The people running the teams that I root for, Dimitrov needs to get fired before Jeter needs to get fired. We're leaving. Jeter's not first place for firing right now.
I don't think your problem is Dimitrov. I think it's the coach.
They all need to go. Change the whole, chop it off. Whoops, the Hydra that had the 8 heads, chop all the heads off and start fresh. Get
the whole culture?
The whole culture? Get them all out. Get them all out.
Do you want Blank out of there too? Blank's the one that.
Well, no. Actually, here's the thing, right? The Falcons were a Browns level organization for most of our lives. They got lucky and got Deion Sanders in the late 80s and brought some juice to the team. Jerry Glanville, like an idiot, screwed that completely up. But the reason that the Falcons were mediocre for all those years is the Smith family, one of the worst owners ever. They were super, super cheap. They played at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. High school stadiums in Florida are nicer than the team was playing in up until the Georgia Dome was built. Arthur Blank's a friggin' godsend. We've gone to the Super Bowl with Arthur Blank. We should have went in 2012. We've already talked about that before. Blank needs to stay. Blank just needs to get a coach.
I like how you always throw that in like it's a given.
No, that's fact. That's fact. The Earth is the third planet from the sun. Pluto used to be a planet, and the Falcons got hosed in 2012 against San Francisco in the NFC Championship. Those are 3 facts right there. Blank doesn't need to go. Blank needs to stay.
Fun fact, they say there's acid rain on the moon Titan that surrounds Saturn. You getting crackbacks knowledge.
What the heck?
Tune in weekly.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, where you at? Come through.
Oh, man.
Acid rain on the moon, Joel. The moon surrounding Saturn.
It's cold out there. Would you go? Would you fly to our moon for a vacation?
Fuck
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't.
What? You wouldn't go to the moon?
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos have gotten together. They want to build a hotel on the moon.
Let me see it. Let me see it first before I go. Yeah.
And
why would you not want to go to the moon, though?
They'll fly it up there in modules and build it up there. And then you can fly. You'll stay in the hotel a couple days, and then you'll come back to Earth. The view is going to be awesome. But
why would you not want to go to the moon?
Well, because I haven't seen the hotel yet. I don't want to just like.
Have you
so
seen
you're
the
worried
moon?
about the amenities, not the fact that you're going to the moon?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just doesn't interest me that much.
That's the bougiest thing I have ever heard you say.
But I just
I ain't going to the moon unless they got room service.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
Obviously they're gonna have room service. It's the fucking moon.
You can't go. It's not like you can go out for food.
Yeah, you're not gonna walk around and find a restaurant.
It's gonna be like $3,000 a night, and then like $30,000 a night. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
I was gonna say
to get up there. Yeah.
But, only the rich will do that.
I'm just saying, there's other places that I'd rather see first, even if I had the money to go there.
Sounds like
Even Mars. I would rather see Mars over the moon. Yes.
You saw what the hotel would look like on Mars. Matt Damon built it. Good movie, by the way. If you've never seen The Martian, we're still on semi-lockdown here. Go ahead and toss in The Martian with Matt Damon. Good movie.
Decent at best.
Yeah, good movie. It was better than the one with McConaughey where they were trying to get back.
Interstellar? Is it Interstellar?
That movie was terrible. And then the one with George Clooney and Pretty Woman.
Oh yeah,
Pretty Woman dying in the fucking floating away from each other into the never-ending abyss.
Yo, but that's just kind of like freaky though. Like just the fact of getting lost in space like that. Like I don't know, that's weird.
Another not good movie, Lost in Space.
All right, I saw something the other day.
Another not good movie. Yeah, exactly.
I saw something the other day. They're going to start doing more exhibitions to the Titanic because it's starting to like break down, and obviously sooner or later it's not going to be there anymore. So they're going to start doing exhibitions, and they're going to allow civilians to go and do some of the stuff in the submarines and shit. Would you guys do that?
I have no interest in being a submarine either.
All right, so I'll go in a submarine. That's fine. I'm not really feeling going down. There's a lot of ghosts down there. A lot of people died on the Titanic. I'm not down.
You never told us the story of the ghost in your house.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll tell you that right now. Actually, but what if one of the ghosts,
the cold spot at the bottom of
what if one of the ghosts grabs the side of the submarine and we can't get back up to the top? Or even worse, what if it pulls us down? I saw the Meg. I know what happens when you get below that level that they've never been to.
What if the Kraken is down there?
I think the Kraken is where the Meg was. And Jason Statham, if he's not with me in the submarine, that's the one caveat. If Jason Statham is with me, I'll go in the submarine. Or I will also take Sean Connery as a backup to go on the submarine. Hunt for Red October. Yeah. I only said it because Enrique's like 9 years old. I don't think he even knows Sean Connery was in.
I would rather take
movie.
Nicole Eggert with me, or that's a girl's name, Alexandra Daddario, whatever her name is.
Daddario.
They're both trained lifeguards and super hot, and they're women. So I'll take them in my submarine. You go ahead and take Jason Statham.
So
all right. When your 3 corpses float to the top, and me and Jason Statham are having a beer celebrating life, that's fine. Plus, Nicole Eggert hasn't been hot since Bill Clinton was in office.
I'll take fat Nicole Eggert too.
It ain't even fat. She looks like Arkansas Hill people right now. It's not right. She done children people of the hills, or was it no? It's Children of the Corn, and what's the other one? It's like something something in the hills.
Eyes?
The hills have eyes. There you go. She looks very hills have eyes-ish right now. It has not been a good aging process, and I'm going to blame Scott Baio for that. Scott Baio poisoned her soul on what was it? Charles in Charge. My brain didn't want to remember Scott Baio's IMDb page because he destroyed Nicole Eggert. She looks really, really bad. That's
another fun fact. Charles in Charge didn't get filmed there, but the actual show was supposed to take place in my hometown of New Brunswick. They went to Rutgers in Charles in Charge.
I did not know
Eggert was meant to be in my submarine, Joel.
Nicole Eggert is a huge fantasy football player. If you didn't know this, here, right? So, and her team.
Lying. I know your lies.
No. Pretty Nicole Eggert would not have played fantasy football. 2020 Nicole Eggert is most definitely playing. Not only is she playing in a actual full league, she's doing FanDuel every day as well. Nicole Eggert is most certainly doing fantasy football. But there was a shit ton of injuries over the weekend. We actually talked about this on an episode maybe about a month ago.
We called it.
A lot of soft tissue injuries, a lot of injuries are going to start happening because guys aren't in full football shape and they're playing at full speed in a game that matters. We were all applauding, and I'm sure the veterans were also applauding, having no preseason, but we're seeing the effects of that right now. And putting a fantasy spin on it, did either one of you have a devastating injury over the weekend?
I had Saquon.
You did have Saquon.
Knock on wood.
I had Saquon Barkley in another league, and my season is over.
You lose anybody, Enrique? No?
I only lost Chris Godwin to a concussion. That was it. So I'm pretty clean.
We're watching Julio Jones' hamstring. They say it might be a little worse than they're letting on the first time, but that's the closest I had to it. Saquon's a big, big loss. Now,
that's what I get for drafting a fucking giant.
But here's a good question:
team.
Out of all the injuries that happened week 2, who do you think Saquon is the biggest loss?
No, because they suck anyway. It doesn't matter.
On the offensive side, no. As far as fantasy goes, yes.
Fantasy-wise, Saquon, Christian McCaffrey. Real league-wise, it's definitely Nick Bosa because he
I agree.
He was the best player on that defense, and they got to the Super Bowl with their defense.
And they lost both of them. Solomon Thomas is going to miss a couple of games as well.
No, he tore his ACL. He's out.
He's done as well.
They both tore their ACLs.
And Garoppolo's out for like 8 weeks.
Really? It's 8 weeks for Garoppolo?
They're scarred. They lost Mostert.
And I had Mostert too.
They're absolutely scarred. So if you had a running back, you had Mostert, you had Saquon Barkley, the top three guys.
Mostert had 2 games this year, 2 80-yard touchdowns. Mostert was rocking.
He can absolutely fly.
Oh, I have Mostert, that's right. And he's on my bench both times, unfortunately. But
he can absolutely fly. So if you need a running back, according to CBS here, the top 3 running backs, because it's been rumored earlier today that Devontae Freeman is going to sign with the Giants.
He did. It's official now.
He did sign. It's official.
Oh, yeah? For real?
Yeah.
So Devontae Freeman signed with the Giants. He's the number 1 running back free agent. You've got Darrell Henderson, which is Cam Akers' co-starter.
What kind of shape is Devontae Freeman in right now?
Apparently he was in good shape because he was waiting for this moment. He's been working out with Edgerrin James and some of the other Florida guys down here. So he's catching rabbits in Pahokee.
As Carlos used to call him, Edgarian James.
Edgarian James. So are you taking Devontae Freeman, Darrell Henderson, or the Carolina back Mike Davis if you got your choice here? Davis is out. It's between Henderson and Freeman.
Devontae Freeman is playing the rest of the year, whereas McCaffrey will come back eventually.
And how bad is Cam Akers? Do they know yet? It was ribs, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really that bad. He walked off.
McCaffrey
was like a high ankle sprain. Those tend to linger.
Yeah. But they said 4 to 6 weeks for McCaffrey. That could go on.
And he's
for
already
a while.
saying, like, yo, fuck that. I'm coming back early. He's already saying, like, there's no way I'm staying out that long.
I mean, that's all, warrior mentality and all that. It's great for him. But that team sucks, dude. Let your ankle heal and then come back. They're not going anywhere. Their defense is terrible. They have one receiver. Teddy Bridgewater is nothing special.
You don't like Teddy Bridgewater?
I'm not
He was a Saint, dude. He's dead to me. I liked him when he was in Louisville. I even rooted for him a little bit when he was in Minnesota, but he was a Saint. Once a Saint, you got that stink on you. I can't deal with you anymore.
He kind of looks like Dudley a little bit, so I kind of always root for him.
He's not bad though. He's all right. He's not bad.
He's not. He is a spot starter and
he was rocking
or
when
a
Brees
gap
was out.
guy. That's Sean Payton still, man. That's superior coaching, and we'd have to. I have a lot of faith in quarterbacks that wear 2 gloves. That bothers me as well. I don't like Bridgewater. And he went from the Saints to the Panthers. So I have nothing good to say about Teddy Bridgewater except for my boy who I had a beverage with at GameStop. Robbie Anderson did score a 70-yard touchdown over the top. Nice pass from Teddy Bridgewater.
Can we talk about how bad the fucking Vikings are?
Please, go right ahead. Because I took their defense. And although Dalvin Cook has scored a touchdown in each game of the first 2 weeks, that offensive line is not opening any holes whatsoever. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins, is he the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now? It
ain't their quarterback, bro. Motherfuckers are scoring 40 points a game on them. Their defense is trash. They let all their defensive linemen go, and it's showing.
And before the season started, the pundits on ESPN were talking about they were the first team that had two upper echelon players at every level on the defense, and it doesn't seem to be showing whatsoever.
But they let him go.
Now.
Everson Griffin's gone. He's on the Cowboys now.
No, Griffin is gone, but they still have Danielle Hunter, and they signed Njoku. They had Harrison Smith, and what's the
and
corner?
Njoku is a tight end.
Not Njoku. Yannick
Ngakwe.
Yeah, one of them. That's from Wakanda. I know it was one of them. I mixed up the 2 of them here, but when we are home, we only call them by Yannick. So they still have 2 upper echelon defensive ends because Danielle Hunter had double-digit sacks last year too.
So
they're just not executing at all. Is
first of all,
Zimmer lost the locker room?
There's only Daniel. There's no Daniil or Danielle as a man. Okay? If your name is spelled like that, your name is Daniel.
But he's got an extra L and an
his
E
name
on
is
there.
Daniil.
Yeah, but he spelled it different.
So you guys know I like Pro Football Focus because you guys mentioned Kirk Cousins. So
you like Pro Football Focus? I would have never thunk it.
So
your homepage.
The worst ranked quarterback according to them is Drew Lock, and Kirk Cousins is at 14. So Kirk Cousins doesn't seem to be the problem for that team. It's the defense. They can't stop a nosebleed right now. They'll get better.
Are you sure? Are you sure Dalvin Cook had a touchdown this week?
Yeah,
I looked at the end of the game. They only had 3 points.
No, he scored a touchdown.
No, he scored a touchdown.
I don't know if they scored after that.
And garbage points still count in fantasy. He scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Dak Prescott had a lot of them.
Exactly. Well, it wasn't garbage time for him. They ended up winning. It wasn't garbage time at all. It was comeback time.
I'll segue that into the point I was going to make earlier. That actually my pick of the 0-2 team most likely to make the playoffs is the Vikings.
New York Jets. Oh, my bad.
I wish. No, it's the Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings to me is my pick for the 0-2 team most likely to make the playoffs. One of them will because there's a 2-0 team right now, which we can have another conversation about, which is the most fraudulent 2-0 team, which I go with the Oakland Raiders. But that's another topic. But I think
they're not in Oakland anymore.
First off, there is no team in Oakland. It's number 1.
Las Vegas.
You probably still say Redskins, man. You ain't woke.
HTTR.
I'm not so sure that they're overrated, man. There's a couple of things with that. Waller is amazing. Did you watch that game last night?
Yeah, he's been a beast.
Hell yeah.
That guy, since he stopped Bridger, catches everything. He is nasty. Jacobs is solid. They got Ruggs. Aguilar actually caught a ball last night.
Don't ever say that on this show again.
I just said, but hold on, listen. I specifically said out of the 2, they're the most fraudulent of the 2-0 teams. That doesn't mean they're bad teams. Just in comparison to the undefeated teams right now, that's my pick to be the bottom.
I can't say anything bad about the Raiders. Everything is hunky dory with the Raiders right now. They beat the Saints last night. So, Raiders, I'm with you. Black and white background.
Everybody rips on Derek Carr like they need to replace him. The guy had 71% completions last year. Threw a bunch of touchdowns last night in prime time in the Death Star.
How many times?
He's a good quarterback.
He's rocking too. He's a good quarterback. Throws a nice ball.
How many times did Amari Cooper drop passes from Derek Carr?
Sometimes he throws it over the middle into double coverage here and there, but he makes nice throws. He was killing it to Waller all night. And I'd like to mention another thing that we talked about on Crackbacks. I said that Mike Mayock did the analysis for the draft all those years, so he was going to be able to find hidden gems throughout the league that didn't quite make it. And Zay Jones was balling for the Raiders last night. Mike Mayock loves Zay Jones coming out the draft, and so did I. He had a wicked Senior Bowl. He played at East Carolina, so it was kind of under the radar, but now he's on the radars.
You know who the most famous NFL player from East Carolina is? Go ahead.
Jeff Blake.
Very good, sir. And quick, too. I like it. They're just young. Ruggs is going to get better. He didn't even see the ball. He had one catch last night. They got Hunter Renfrow. Every team needs a small white receiver to get 4 or 5 yards when you need it.
He's good, man. He's won 2 national championships.
Yeah,
he's a poor man's Cole Beasley.
But what about the defense? Where's the pass rush? Who are the corners?
They got Cleveland Farrell. They
drafted a bunch of defensive linemen.
Who has been a bust so far? Max Crosby's been much better than he has.
And Crosby's bald. They drafted a corner out of Ohio. He played last night. David.
He's good. Arnett.
Yeah, David Arnett. They had the other Garrison Conley. Is he still there, or is he suspended again?
And that safety they got is nasty. That Abrams.
They're getting there. They're just really young.
Look at the division they play in. We're going to find out if they've gotten better because they play in that division with a lot of passing.
They looked good last night. I'll give them that. I'll trade you a running back. If you lost Saquon, I'll trade you a running back for Waller right now.
It was a different league. I lost Saquon, but I appreciate the offer. If you want Waller, we could talk though.
I did pick up Devontae Freeman in the league. I'm not sure which one it is because I can't remember right now.
I actually drafted Devontae Freeman in my Jersey league, and everybody was like, he's not on a team, right? And I was like, yeah, dickheads.
You got any Giants fans in that league?
Yeah, that's why I was hoping to trade Saquon
Barkley. That's the only reason that I picked up Devontae Freeman. The league's got a couple of Giants fans in it. I also have Tua in the league with some Dolphin fans in there.
Jamal Murray just had a very emphatic dunk.
I have
Jamal Murray taken with the Knicks draft pick. Yo, holy shit! The Nuggets are up by 20. I didn't realize they're beating the shit out of them. It's 97-77. Vegas is probably losing some money tonight.
That's because LeBron took himself out of the game once he realized they were going to lose.
What, is the arena hot? Is that what happened? Did he overheat again?
Cramps.
No, I told you he flopped. This dude hit him with like an elbow to the chin.
And he sat out after that?
You're right. You're going to bed.
6'9", 275 pounds.
We'll be done in a couple minutes.
Why do you get LeBron? We could spend an entire. We have to have a LeBron special.
Oh, I have an.
I think we did. I think we had
like it was like a 5 minute. We can do a whole podcast.
Enrique wants to do a 30 for 30 smear campaign on LeBron.
And I guarantee you, I will never once get disrespectful of him personally. It'll be 100% basketball.
Something to look at. But here, we got another 5 minutes of this Lakers game. I actually want to watch the end of it if he's out and they're getting blasted. Anything else this week, fellas? We've been on here. We're at an hour already. I'll take that as a no. We'll see you on Sunday after the game.
I just want to reiterate again that we here on Crackbacks very early in the preseason said if they weren't going to play preseason games and camp was going to be limited, there wasn't going to be much hitting, that there was going to be a lot of injuries. And Adam Schefter said this week was the most soft tissue injuries he remembers ever happening in 1 week.
And I don't think it's done. We're going to see more next week.
And then he did a shout-out to Crackbacks on ESPN.
Which he absolutely should. So, Schefter, we love you, Schefter. We're shouting out ourselves, Crackbacks. We'll see you next week. Nice. I'm going to put that – I have that up in literally like a half an hour.